And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this third segment, we are going to be listing all of the WNBA award winners. And everyone that has won an award is going to get recognized because, again, a lot of people probably didn't even pay attention to that because of the NFL season. And again, I say this time and time again, you have to reveal the news. You have to do it at a time when there is no college football going on and when there is no NFL football going on. Just avoid the weekends entirely. Avoid them. Completely avoid them because the biggest talk is going to be about football. And because of that, no one is going to be aware of who wins the awards. In fact, it took me around 10 minutes to be able to find the award winners for each and every single one of the WNBA awards, and that should not be the case. It should be something as simple as a Google search, and like this, quick and simple. And it wasn't. It was a pain. It took a while because a lot of people were writing about football. Like you can't do that. And a lot of people are going to pay more attention to football than they are to the WNBA. It's just not fair for these WNBA athletes. And I despise making these games on a Sunday. Completely despise it. Now, anyways, without further ado, let's continue with the awards. So, as I mentioned before, Aja won the MVP. Caitlin won the Rookie of the Year award. They won it unanimously, and there's no questions about that. So, not going to talk about those awards. I'm more so going to talk about the other awards that the WNBA has, similar to how the NBA has other awards, All-NBA First Team, All-NBA Second Team, All-NBA Rookie Team, All-NBA Defensive, all of those kinds of accolades as well. And Most Improved, Sixth Man of the Year, Sixth Woman of the Year, I guess is the term, and all of that. So, again, the MVP and the Rookie of the Year were an easy decision and a unanimous decision, so I'm not going to talk about that, and I already talked about that. So, let's go over the All-Rookie team. Now, obviously, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are both on the All-Rookie team, no questions about that. Camila Cardoso for the Chicago Sky ends up being on the All-Rookie team as well. Aaliyah Edwards for the Washington Mystics ends up being on the All-Rookie team as well. And Rickea Jackson for the LA Sparks ends up being on the All-Rookie team. Now, I really, really wish that it was Cameron Brink, but unfortunately she ended up coming down with a big injury. Maybe she'll make the All-Rookie team next season when she actually plays like a full rookie year and she actually plays in next season. I have no idea if they're even going to count Cameron Brink. And given the fact that she technically played a little bit of games, but then she tore her ACL. So I have no idea if they're even going to count that as a rookie season, but we'll go ahead and see how it progresses and how it goes on. Next is it's actually called for the WNBA, the Sixth Player of the Year. So it's not even Sixth Woman of the Year, which is, whatever you want to, I think it should have been called Sixth Woman. It would have been a nice play on words, but the player that ends up winning Sixth Woman of the Year, Sixth Player of the Year is Leonie Fibich for the New York Liberty. She is a 24-year-old rookie who was the glue that kept the Liberty together throughout the entire season. Now, at the beginning of the year, she didn't really play that many shifts, but as the season ended, she was well in the rotation, logging in 20-plus minutes and became a very important part to their rotation. She averaged 6.7 points, 3 rebounds, 1.8 assists per game. And again, it doesn't really tell the entire story of her versatility. She was able to carry more of a load during stretches where Courtney Vandersloot and Bentnija Laney missed action. Thanks to her play and her ability to adjust to what the Liberty needs and her versatility, the team won a franchise-tying 32 games, and they're the top seed in the league. Tiffany Hayes was also deserving of the award as well, but it did go to Fabich based on her ability to impact winning, and that's ultimately the most important thing in terms of accolades, just winning. You have to provide wins, and this makes her the ideal player for this award. You just got to provide wins, and you have to impact winning in some way. Next is the most improved player, and the most improved player goes to Derica Hamby for the LA Sparks. Now, when you look at her role from before, the previous year before, a lot of people don't actually know who this is, honestly. And like, before, it wasn't like she was producing all that much. But now in this season, her production, like her points, they almost doubled. And she also was able to increase her rebounding total, her assist total, as well as her steals total. And she went from a starter to the number one option and excelled in that role, being the most consistent player for the Sparks, especially when they desperately needed her to. Because, again, Cameron Brink ended up going down with an injury. Huge fan of Cameron Brink, by the way. DeJounte Carrington, like, she was also in the running for this award. The difference is that people expected her to be this good. No one really expected Derica Hamby to be this good. And her per 36 numbers actually took a slight decrease in production compared to last year. While Hamby's performance was completely unexpected, and the numbers that she put up are, well worth the award as well. So it's like, you would rather go for the player that doesn't have that much expectations when winning most improved, as opposed to someone who has the expectations and still improved, right? So if I can put this in NBA terms, maybe, like, let's say the award, like, let's say Victor Wembanyama is in the running for most improved, because I'm pretty sure he would be in the running for most improved. And then out of nowhere, like, just out of nowhere, completely out of the blue, Tyler Hero just explodes and just averages 28 points per game or something like that. Just a completely random player that no one really expects to drop that many points. I just thought of it, Tyler Hero right there. That sort of is the example, because Tyler Hero, no one expects, come on. You guys don't really expect Tyler Hero to average 28 or to nearly 30 points per game, right? 20, sure. Like, 17 to 20, yes, we totally expect that. But 28 to almost 30? No one expects that from Tyler Hero. But a lot of people expect Victor Wembanyama to make that big leap and to make that jump going into next season, given off of what he did and what he's producing last season in his rookie year. So everybody sort of expects Victor to make that leap. No one expects someone like Tyler Hero to make that leap. And so, just to name a player, like, that's sort of like the example that I can give, and sort of why they ended up going with her why they ended up going with Derica Hamby for the Sparks as opposed to Carrington. Now, next award is the Defensive Player of the Year, and that's going to Nafisa Collier for the Minnesota Lynx. And similar to the MVP, it was between Collier and A'ja Wilson, but this time it went to Collier as opposed to Wilson. And A'ja Wilson, like, she gets a lot of blocks, as I alluded to before, but mainly, like, for Collier, like in Collier's game, she was very, very valuable on the defensive side of the ball, and it resulted into way more wins. And the Lynx, they completely overachieved this year and won 30 games, which is also why, the coach of the year is, surprise, surprise, the Lynx. More on that later. And what Collier does as a defender, what she's been doing as a defender, it's been swept a little bit under the radar because it's Minnesota, and I'm sorry to say this, but Minnesota, before Anthony Edwards just exploded in the postseason, they were not getting any kind of recognition. Makes total sense why the WNBA team isn't getting that much recognition, but they do have a very solid team, and they could end up winning the WNBA championship, which would in turn give them way more clout and way more relevance in the WNBA, and way more stature in there as well. So, again, her value on the defensive end, completely unreal, and they decided to go with someone who actually had legitimate value as opposed to somebody that had the bigger name in this instance. And as I said before, the Minnesota Lynx, they also have the Coach of the Year, and that goes to Cherelle Reeve. And obviously, like, nobody expected the Lynx to be the number 2 seed, and it was all because of this coach right here. And a lot of people considered Sandy Brondello for the award as well, given that she's replicated another historic season for the Liberty. But Reeve has done what nobody expected to do, and that is bring Minnesota to the playoffs. And therefore, you have to have her on the team. You have to have her as the Coach of the Year. Now we move on to the All WNBA team. So now we have All WNBA first team. Nafisa Collier, again, the aforementioned Nafisa Collier. She makes the first team. Sabrina Ionescu and Brenna Stewart, of course, they make the first team. Alyssa Thomas for the Connecticut Sun also makes the first team. And, of course, the MVP, Aja Wilson, makes the first team. The second team, Caitlin Clark makes the second team for the Indiana Fever. Kayla Copper from the Phoenix Mercury makes the second team. Jonquel Jones for the Liberty also makes the second team. Arike Ogunbowale for the Wings, forgive me if I messed up that last name, makes the second team. And Nika Mike, forgive me if I messed up that last name again, for the Seattle Storm makes the second team. Now, I believe that Caitlin is the only WNBA rookie player that is on an all WNBA team. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's where she stands in this. And a lot of people are going to be rather surprised and things like that. But like this is sort of what I expect coming in from this list. And now let's go ahead and continue. The all defensive first teams is going to Natasha Cloud for the Phoenix Mercury, Nafisa Collier, Brenna Stewart, Alyssa Thomas, and Aja Wilson for the Aces. And obviously Aja Wilson's going to make the all defensive first team. It makes total sense because, I mean, her blocks and her block totals and the blocks that she averages is just unreal. And for second team, Dewana Boner, Dejani Carrington for both the Connecticut Sun is also on the second team. In fact, there's actually 3 players on the Connecticut Sun that have made the all defensive teams right here, according to this article here. And this is all, I'm 90% sure that a lot of these are just predictions and not official as of right now, because, they're still subject to change. But I do mostly agree with this list. And again, Jonquel Jones for the Liberty ends up making the second team. Ezzie McBeggar ends up making the second team as well for the Storm, and Alana Smith for the Minnesota Lynx ends up making the second team as well. And again, it's just going off of what they've done in the season and what I've seen from them in the games that I've tuned into. And going into the postseason, it makes total sense why the Liberty are going to struggle in scoring, because there's 3 players that are on the Connecticut Sun that they have to go up against, and 3 of those players are phenomenal defenders. So it makes total sense as to why the struggle is sort of happening for this team. And that's all that I have for the awards, and that's really it. And again, it's this is arguably the most generational season this is the most popular season in the entire WNBA history. And this list was composed by a person named Edwin Garcia. So this is sort of where I got all the answers to this is where I got sort of all the players and where they listed. And not only that, but I also tuned into a lot of these games. And I agree with the majority of where I would put these players. And again, I really wish I could have put Cameron Brink on the all-rookie team. But again, that injury is really just hinders her. Now, with that out of the way, with all the WNBA awards out of the way, we can go right ahead and go into the 4th segment where I talk about Jason Tatum and his comments about how he knew he was going to win the NBA Finals. Again, this is completely new. I did not expect to read this, and I did not expect to see this headline over this weekend, and I'm actually really curious as exactly what's going to be going on. And, I'm really curious to see, how this, what Jason Tatum exactly had to say. Because I didn't read the article yet. So we're all going to read it together in this 4th segment right after the short break. So be sure to tune in if you guys are interested to Tatum's comments about how he knew he was going to win the championship. So I will be right back.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.